Hey everyone, I'm Noah,
And I'm Jaden.
and we are the Super Gamer Bros. And today we wanted to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is a game being released in holiday 2022 now. It's being released on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS5 and 4, and PC. Hogwarts Legacy is an open world adventure game currently in development at Avalanche Software that will take players into the Harry Potter universe. Hogwarts Legacy will be a chance for Harry Potter fans to craft their own adventure in familiar locations from the series, stepping away from the timeline of the books and films to tell an original story in the 1800s. So, Hogwarts Legacy is going to be an immersive open world RPG set in the wizarding world of the 1800s, specifically Hogwarts. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart. Having received a late acceptance letter for Hogwarts, the player discovers that they possess the ability to possess and master ancient magic. Only you can decide if you will protect this secret for the good of all or yield to the temptation of more sinister magic. Hogwarts Legacy will see players creating and customizing their own characters, creating potions, mastering spell casting, upgrading their talents, making allies, and battling dark wizards to decide the fate of the wizarding world. Players can also expect to come across fantastic beasts and visit both new and familiar locations such as the Forbidden Forest and Hogsmeade Village. So that's basically what Hogwarts Legacy is in premise. Jaden, what do you think about this game?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm very excited for it. Harry Potter. There are a lot of kind of fandoms out there. I would guess would be the word to say that you are certainly much more a part of than I am. Harry Potter, I think, being one of them. Like, I was never a big Harry Potter fan, but it's like when this game was first announced. I'd realized that games where you play as just like a wizard don't really exist ever. It's always like magic is always kind of a side thing, except for I guess if you played the Harry Potter tie-in games, which we did play several of them.
Those don't really count.
I mean, they still like those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head where you do play as someone where magic is your primary focus and everything is focused around magic. So, when this game was announced, especially knowing that it was going to be a completely original story, nothing to do with the books, nothing to do with any existing Harry Potter or Wizarding World stories, really just instantly hooked me.
I agree. I actually like the fact that it doesn't have anything to do with the Harry Potter story. We've seen it all, we've heard it all, it's done, but the world and the lore is so promising that we can delve into it. It's like Star Wars, right? It can just keep
hmm
going.
Yeah. And I mean, it's much like anytime you create a game based off an existing IP, especially something like a book series or maybe a movie series, whatever, your two options are do something completely different from the source material or follow the source material exactly. They couldn't make a Hogwarts RPG game where you're running around becoming friends with Harry Potter because so many things would have to happen that you wouldn't have control over because you're in that story. And that's why, I personally love it when creators take the world and they kind of make it a completely new story about it.
So they stress in the description that there's choice in the game, good or bad and whatnot. It's what you want to do. And with that comes a morality system, right? There's going to be good and bad choices or, good and bad actions. There's going to be some kind of morality system in the game. And I'm excited to learn about what that is because it could be tied into like the school system. Like if you're out after dark or you're in the
What, like,
halls during class or something and you're like given a detention or a head boy stops you or something like that. I think that could be potentially interesting. No?
sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, I guess, just being an RPG. I would expect some sort of system like this. I do like how you just kind of first went to like losing points for your house. I think that's kind of funny. Because I was thinking more larger scale of becoming like a dark wizard and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's
But
true.
you're
I'm
like,
not
nah,
talking
you sneak
about
out after
I'm
bedtime.
yeah, no, like obviously I want to play this game and I want to be the darkest dark wizard there is. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But
Yeah.
I want the class punishments to be prominent also. I want the other half of this game to feel like a wizarding school simulator. You know what I mean? Anywho, speaking of morality, in a since deleted tweet, they always are, from Hogwarts Legacy writer DC Allen, a discussion around the game's potential age rating opened up possibilities for the Harry Potter title to include the book series Dark Arts. Basically, the forbidden magic that only very powerful evil wizards use. And when asked whether or not killing would be possible in this game, they answered that it happens in other games that are 16 plus, like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's just not bloody. And that leaves us to believe that there is probably more than likely a way to kill enemies in this game, and hopefully it is the killing curse of Vada Kedavra for those Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with that. I mean, if you look at killing in games is not as big a deal as blood in games. Like there's death in Lego games, but obviously those aren't rated. Yeah, I mean they're rated, I guess, E10 and up usually, but there's death in those games. Like people die, you see it, but obviously it's very cartoony. And as just mentioned in that quote, Horizon Zero Dawn, like you straight up shoot people with arrows, like that's dead, that's lethal, they're dead. But there's no blood, so it still gets by on that T rating.
Right, and it sucks, as adults that it has to be that way, but that's how things are, Most of these games are marketed towards, minors, and
I think especially with Harry Potter, it is a children's book series.
But also, yeah, absolutely. But I'm talking about Horizon.
Well, yeah, but even I would say that's not an issue in Harry Potter though, because when you hit someone with a killing curse, they don't bleed. They just die.
Right.
Of course, there might not be blood. I don't really care.
Right. That's fair. But yeah, my one request for this game is I want to be able to learn the killing curse and just be horribly evil.
I'm glad you get to choose your house.
Yes, I would. This is the next. So I wanted to say that the next half of this video is about to be things I thought were important from the frequently asked questions on Hogwarts Legacy's official site. And one of those is that you will choose your house when you create your character and you get to Hogwarts and whatever. And I like that because people talked about making it like a personality quiz type thing. And I think that's just dumb,
They've done that in games before.
Yeah, but in the, in the lore, you can pick your house. So I feel like that's just how it should be.
I mean, I feel like you sort of can pick your house. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm not going to argue about Harry Potter lore with you because you can 100% pick your house.
I mean, okay. Anywho.
You talk about the next facts.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I think this is such a big, what do you call that? Like a cleanup kind of thing. I can't think of the word, but want to talk basically two I feel like big facts that matter to a lot of people that I feel like they both go together. One, trans inclusive character creation. So according to a Bloomberg report, Hogwarts Legacy will include transgender characters by letting each player customize their character's voice and body type and then choose their character's dorm placement, witch or wizard, independent of those other selections. And also J.K. Rowling does not have much involvement in the game, apparently, is what they say.
Yeah, pretty much no involvement, actually.
Yeah.
Which is the best.
Yeah, and you get, why this is kind of like I feel like a little bit of a appeasing, I guess.
Fan service?
I guess. But, so for anyone who I guess doesn't know, J.K. Rowling a few years ago made some big transphobic comments and basically is just completely transphobic. Has like doubled down on those comments and just gone so much further with it. So specifically because of that, the game, like the developers, want to distance themselves from her as much as possible because obviously that's not good for her to be transphobic.
It's not a good look.
Yeah, well, it's not a good look, and it's just not good. Like,
obviously, but I mean, like, for a company, if you're trying to sell a product and
yeah,
it's more about saving face, I think.
Yeah, that's why I imagine that's absolutely why kind of both of these things are here a bit. But obviously, the Super Gamer Bros, we are very pro trans rights here. So it's like I love that they have that option, the trans inclusive character creation. I love that it's there. I imagine they're motives for putting it there are probably not the best, but it's there. So
They
like
still get credit for it.
they still get credit for it because that's not something that
It's not in many
I don't think
games.
I can't name a game that it's been in thus far where you can like have a transgender character. And so yeah, it's really cool that it's there. Like that's at the end of the day, despite it might not being the best motives behind putting it there, more inclusion is always a good thing. So I'm completely okay with that. Also, there is broom flying, as well as just to completely swap to a much less serious concept.
I was
You can
gonna
fly
say, yeah.
brooms. Yeah, you can fly brooms, as well as there are a few other methods of transportation in the game. There are also broom races, and the inclusion of broom flying makes it much more likely that Hogwarts Legacy will have some sort of Quidditch mini game. It has not been confirmed that Quidditch is in the game at all, or like a playable version of it, but the fact that you can fly brooms is already a pretty big hint that they would put that in there. And we're finally getting the sequel to Quidditch World Cup that we've always wanted. Uh,
I I don't know if you watched the State of Play featuring Hogwarts Legacy, but the broom flying to me looked a little rigid. Obviously, it was like a 3-second clip, so you can't really tell. But I am very curious to know as whether or not they are going to have some sort of Quidditch game in this, and I would really like to. I
I
don't
mean,
care that
it's
it's
something
single
that,
player.
well, I mean, I just have to imagine I would be completely shocked if it wasn't in there, whether single player or not. Because again, while with this game, they are very much trying not to be, not trying to be a Harry Potter game, more as a wizard slash Hogwarts game.
Right.
Like, it's Quidditch. Like, it's so synonymous with the world that there's no way you can just not have Quidditch at all.
I hope so. But the other transportation methods are there are a number of creatures you can tame and mount in the game.
It's very interesting, yeah.
Yes, including a hippogriff,
Well, of course, a hippogriff, yeah.
my favorite. Players
Yeah,
will
no.
attend classes such as Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Herbology, and Potions, where they will meet their professors, learn to cast spells, grow magical plants, brew potions, and more. Yeah, it sounds like a lot is tied into the class system, and I'm very excited about that.
I so much love that idea. I honestly would have no problem playing a game that is just 7 years of you going through classes in
At
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts
Yeah, I
without any like
uh,
overarching story.
absolutely. I would love like give me like life sim, school sim Hogwarts game. That's what I want. Like nothing exciting happens. You go through your classes, you take your tests, make friendships and shit, and then you graduate. Congratulations. That's it. That's all I need. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about
Yeah.
this. It sounds like classes are how you learn more spells. Classes are how you gain experience, and you learn how to, like in Defense Against the Dark Arts, you learn how to fight against certain creatures that you come across inside and out of Hogwarts. Herbology and potions will teach you about potions and I guess herbs, plants that you can grow, which is
Yep.
also a facet of the game. And one class they don't have listed here, which I do know, I'm pretty sure for sure is a class, which is flying, and where
They
you're
also
learning how
don't
to fly on the
have
broom.
I mean they don't have a lot of classes listed here. They don't have transfiguration, they don't have history of magic, they don't have whatever that one is with Professor Trelawney, divination, they don't have a lot
Yeah,
of those.
I know, but listen, I think these are the only classes. These, along with
Oh,
flying, are the only classes you take. And that's
oh,
okay with
that's
me.
upsetting.
I mean, these are the best ones. What, you want to take divination?
I'd take transfiguration.
Well, you still might be able to transfigure.
I mean, I would hope so. Yeah, whatever.
There's a
Anyway,
chance you could become an animagus or something.
I feel like I'm gonna have to say no. They wouldn't do that. I feel like that would get very complicated very quickly.
Limited selection.
Yeah, okay, that would make it easier, but still, I feel like it would be pretty complicated. Anyway, moving on from classes. So, Hogwarts Legacy 100% confirmed is a single player experience and does not have online or co op gameplay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. It's a bummer though, of course. I feel like games are always better co-op, not necessarily MMO or, PvP online, but I'm talking
Um,
more like tailored co-op story experience, kind of like Far Cry's. how they do it.
I have to disagree with you there. I do not think games are always better co-op. I do not think I would enjoy Hogwarts Legacy as much co-op. Just I mean, obviously having not played it, yeah, I think it'll be just fine as a single player. Honestly, I don't think I'd want to mess with another person. Like the only reason I would support co-op is that Haley really wants to play it. Obviously, we can't play it together, and we can't just take turns because she wants to be a Hufflepuff and I refuse to be a loser.
What are you starting as?
Yeah, suck it, Hufflepuff. Oh, okay, nothing. I'd probably do Slytherin.
25% of our viewers are Hufflepuff.
That's so one person.
Slytherin, that's what I'm doing first.
Well, because
And then on my
we
good
did
playthrough, I would do a Ravenclaw.
That's exactly what I would do. Actually, exact same thing. No, I would either do Slytherin or Ravenclaw for my good playthrough, and again, whichever one I didn't do for good, I would do for bad.
Have a good
Yeah.
Slytherin and a bad Ravenclaw.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Also, obviously, something that every developer now has to speak up about because it's such a large thing in games. Unfortunately, Hogwarts Legacy does not have in-game purchases or microtransactions. Obviously, that's a good thing.
You did say unfortunately right before it.
Well,
but,
sorry, I meant like, unfortunately, microtransactions are a big part of games. Fortunately, they do not have any.
Yeah, I do think it is kind of gross that developers have to provide a statement on microtransactions, but I think it's important because we've had multiple games drop and have microtransactions without the developers ever having, or the developers or publishers ever having said anything about microtransactions before.
Especially, single player games that do that, like Shadow of War, a very infamous example of game that is single player but has those very egregious microtransactions.
Microtransactions can really ruin a game's experience. And the fact that we're not going to see them at all is fantastic. That doesn't mean we won't be seeing DLC, right? There could still be a chance for some
I would say
extra content.
I would say that DLC does not count as in-game purchase or microtransaction. That's a whole different category.
Right, so that's pretty much everything about Hogwarts Legacy that we know right now, right?
Yeah, I mean that, recent gameplay trailer really helped confirm / just show off a bunch of things, but I would say everything we know so far about Hogwarts Legacy, this is it.
Yeah, I'm so excited that it's coming out this year. Still supposedly, I'm crossing my fingers.
I'm going to go ahead and guess it won't.
I'm hoping. Let me be hopeful.
Anyway, if you guys like this video, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, leave a dislike, comment, and subscribe anyway. And if you like hearing us talk about games, you can hear us talk more in depth on games in our podcast, the Super Gamer Bros podcast, available anywhere podcasts can be downloaded and available as videos on our YouTube channel. You can also follow our Instagram, the Super Gamer Bros, where we post updates on everything we do. And yeah, I think that's everything. So thanks for watching.
Bye.